So when it comes to coding boot camps, people tend to ask me, should they go to a coding boot camp? And though I can't answer that question for you, I am sorry, but I can pose the question, do you need to go to a coding boot camp? So let's tackle that. The idea behind a coding boot camp is that you're kind of fast tracking your learning. You're in an environment where it's suitable to learn a whole bunch of things in a short amount of time. It also provides a structure of learning. So typically there is a syllabus or an outline that you're following from week to week, and then you're completing things and you're learning ultimately. So if you kind of like that atmosphere of like having a teacher teaching you things and you having assignments week to week, then I would say it's a pretty good thing for you to do. However, if you're more of a person that doesn't like that much structure, then I wouldn't think that this is going to be the right thing for you. What do I mean when I say that ultimately if you don't like structure, then this isn't a coding bootcamp, probably isn't the right thing for you? Basically, I'm saying there's a lot of outline going on. Like I said, there's projects from week to week. So if you're not a person that could stay committed to doing that, then you probably shouldn't go to a coding bootcamp. Also, if you're the type of person that may get distracted easily or want to wander away, this may be something that's probably good for you because it provides that structure for you if that's something that you're interested in. But the question is, do you really need to go to one? I'm gonna be upfront with you. No, you don't need to go to a coding bootcamp. Ultimately, going to a coding bootcamp will give you that structure, like I said, that you need, right? There's gonna be things that you tackle each day. You're gonna feel accomplished about those things, and you're gonna think that you're really doing some great stuff. And you are. You're really learning, and that's really awesome to know. But can you do the same thing on your own? Certainly. Certainly you can. So that's why I said you don't really need to go to a coding bootcamp. So how would you go about it if you were just kind of learning on your own? Well, there's a lot of tools. There's a lot of resources out there. But if you're gonna go at it alone, I highly recommend that you find a community. There's different communities on Twitter. Twitter's a big space in the tech space, so I would definitely find your way on there. I'm gonna gather some kind of hashtags that you could follow and kind of have that community on Twitter that you want, but also make sure that you're looking out for the hashtags that have to do with the specific language that you're learning or a specific framework that you're learning, because that's how you're going to build community as well. Now, besides having different hashtags to follow and try to converse with people on Twitter, there's also Slack groups that you could reach out to as well, and that could be a very good resource for you. So I had a video about specifically those that are Blacks in technology. I had a ton of resources that I talked about in a prior video, so I will link that above. So if you're interested in that, definitely check those out. I recommend going out and researching. So what does that mean? What are you looking for exactly? Well, you're looking up different language that you want to learn, right? Where do you start? Well, you start with the basics. So you start by going to Codecademy. You start by going to Free Code Camp. You start by browsing Udacity and seeing what's on there. Don't get too caught up in that. It could get a little crazy. I recommend starting with the bare bones basics and kind of figuring out there. I started out this video saying, do you need to go to a coding bootcamp? Ultimately, the answer is no. You don't really need to go to a coding bootcamp. However, does it help? Does it aid in your learning? Of course it does. With anything that you do, having additional resources there to help you is only going to make you that much better in the long run. So, if you're considering going to a coding bootcamp, please please, please, and I urge you, please again, do not go into a coding bootcamp and the only code that you know is like when you get there or the pre-bootcamp stuff that they give you after you get accepted. Please do not let that be the first time that you code. I just spoke about some wonderful resources that can get you started, and I definitely recommend starting there. Definitely look up different frameworks as you try to understand what that actually means. Definitely try to understand the basics. So get started, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, know what all three of those mean, what they do, what they entail, and then start coding with those languages. Start there. That's how you're gonna ultimately grow. I guarantee you, if you ask anybody how they got started in web development, if they didn't have a traditional CS degree, chances are they started out using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So just throwing that out there. Start with the basics, get in community, and really start learning from other people, and go from there. Start there, see how you do on your own first, and then once you've learned some on your own, then start thinking about coding boot camps, doing your own research, kind of figuring out what you would ultimately get from those. Definitely look at some other videos on YouTube and kind of all around the internet, and kind of seeing what would work for you ultimately. Now, I have a whole coding bootcamp playlist on my channel. Hint, hint. If you want to check that out, go ahead and give that a view through if you would. Otherwise, that is all I have for you guys. I really wish you all the best of luck. If you have additional questions, put them down below. You can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Feel free to reach out to me on either of those platforms or down below. You can also email me down below if you're interested in that sort of thing. I'm happy to answer your questions. So I will see you all in the next video. Take care, people, and keep coding. Keep coding. Well, just live and keep coding. Ultimately, just keep doing your thing. See you guys.